fever rash.
Available.
Imagine how hilarious that would be. That would be the cougar score of the century. Jenny McCarthy dates Justin Bieber.
Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support.
Guys, a truck that was carrying 24 million bees just flipped over in Texas, and an entire neighborhood just had to get locked down and told to seal their windows. So the truck was hauling 406 beehives through a town called Mauriceville in Texas, and the driver just didn't make a turn and flipped the entire thing into a ditch. Each single one of those hives was holding between 60 and 80,000 bees, so the second that the truck flipped, 24 million bees basically just flew all up into the air at once. And then Orange County Emergency Services straight up told the entire neighborhood to stay inside and seal their windows because there were that many bees flying outside. Hello. They had to call in multiple different local beekeepers from 3 to 4 different companies to suit up and try to round them all back up into the boxes. Thankfully, no people were hurt, but there are multiple different reports in the area that apparently some dogs in the neighborhood got stung. Would you go outside if your county was warning you to seal your windows with 24 million bees out there? Because I can barely handle one.
I mean, from what I've been told, bees aren't as deadly or aren't as annoying as wasps, so I'm surprised that like animals or even people got stung from that, because bees aren't really aggressive.
Is alien. He's possibly a leader. We've known this for a few years, and the Teslas are part of the alien domination deal. I don't know why we made the deal to let them build the Teslas here. They're building the Teslas here. They're building the alien spacecraft's power sources in front of us, parking them in the back of empty Sears parking lots across the USA, Chicago, St. Louis, on the West Coast. And Trump kind of knows it, but he needs the money. He lost money. Everybody does. Elon's got money coming out of his earlobes. But that makes it legit. Elon Musk and Jacques Cousteau studying alien underwater life forms, because that's where the spaceships are.
That's where the aliens are, y'all. In the ocean.
How do I know these things? They're so big. Yikes. Bigger than Shaq. It's not funny, dude. Don't tell your wife about these things, dude. Yeah, she asked me questions. What were you guys talking about John Pork yesterday?
Stay weird, y'all.
We were talking about pork.
Fever, and I want a fever rash.
Available.
Imagine how hilarious that would be. That would be the cougar score of the century. Jenny McCarthy dates Justin Bieber.
Apparently wanted to know what a Bieber felt like.
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms?
Like little girl fans, I can't go.
You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
All right. What music are you listening to at the moment? Beautiful face. All right.
If a stranger whipped her son.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Whoa!
Go down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah. Right now he's having 48 hours with Diddy. I had legal guardianship. Full crazy.
Yeah, for those first couple clips where Justin Bieber was getting harassed, if the roles were flipped and it was like a young girl that's under like 18, like 16, which he was, and the dude was harassing the young girl, telling her like, oh yeah, I want like a Bieber rash or whatever, you know, we would not hear the end of that story.
Most controversial of Mackenzie's TikTok is from Halloween. She's with 3 of her friends and they're all in the same costume, well, different variations of it. But Mackenzie is dressed in an all black look. She's got these black furry boots, black ripped leggings, this super tight corset, and this ribbed black top where it looks like someone just put it through a paper shredder. And you can see part of her chest that in her TikTok post, she keeps covering up with an emoji. And her makeup, since it's Halloween, it's supposedly inspired by Playboy Cardi and the look that he would sometimes perform with. It was like during a very specific era of his career, which some people called it the clown era, but it's more of this vampy, corpse, theatrical, comic book villain inspired look. It did look really cool when he would perform on stage with that look. But this Halloween post becomes one of Mackenzie's most controversial social media posts, more than her posting herself driving while smoking weed, because everyone says that she looks like she dressed up as a corpse. Mackenzie's friends are saying, no, that's not true. We were dressed up as Playboy Cardi. But also, what about it? Like, what if she dressed up as a corpse? It's Halloween, get a grip. But it's not the holiday and it's not the costume. It is the timing of this Halloween. People are upset because this was posted and this was done Halloween of 2022. Just 3 months after, Mackenzie was in a fatal car crash where she was the driver that killed her boyfriend Dom and their friend Davion.
Not forget the Wayfair scandal and its ties to Epstein, where it had average items for ridiculous prices, like this twin 66.1-inch Ghislaine convertible sofa and other products which names corresponded with missing children. But it's just a coincidence, right? According to the fact checkers. What they didn't tell you is that they connected the products to the wrong children. Let's go back to the Ghislaine sofa, whose price was coincidentally the same as the coordinates of Epstein's island. Still not convinced? Let's look at the meaning of the term waif and fair. A waif is a person, most commonly a homeless, neglected or orphan child who is without a home, friends or protection. The word fare generally refers to either the fee paid for transportation, the food served at a meal, or a verb describing how well someone is performing in a given situation. If you're still not convinced, let's look at the company who was selling the sofa, called Ghislaine, which had a price which matched the coordinates of Epstein's island. And would you look at that? It was from a company called Little St. James.
No one can seem to agree on anything anymore except for two things. Pizza and us. And us.
What?
Cruised down, went over to their house. They made us homemade pizza, and it was an amazing time. I sat next to Bono. It was a good day.
That is a good day.
It was, and her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yep. She does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza,
Wonderful, wonderful pizza. All right.
I'm really excited about the possibility of having a pizza party with a pop star. Do you have pizza parties with pop stars often? No. Okay. Just checking.
You really are a genuine fan, and it's amazing. And we've known each other for years. Yeah. You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. It's so good. So much fun. Now,
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce. He can go deep on that.
And why does their website have a super secured backdoor to a secret division where you can order pizza pictures for absurd prices? This screenshot was made public by a hacker. It's in low resolution, so I will read out loud what it says at the bottom. This month we have 5 fresh pizzas for your enjoyment. We also have 4 surviving pizzas from last month's session. All are on sale at an extremely low price, as they are in poor health and not expected to survive. So a requirement is that you finish eating your pizza after your session. This month's special includes a 30% discount on severe torture. Each image below is available for $1,000 in fine print. Why are they talking about kill rooms, murder, and rinsing it off when you're done? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. The celebrity obsession and the elite obsession with pizza is literally so weird. And y'all gotta also remember, when it comes to like trafficking, these people that are being sold are sold for thousands of dollars. The only people that could potentially even buy someone that has been trafficked is the really rich and elite people. An average person like me or you know what I'm saying, I'm guessing like the average salary in the US is like what, $60,000-$80,000. Half of these people being trafficked are that much money. The average person doesn't even have money to buy a trafficked person. So it really does make you think, like, it has to be people that are super wealthy or people that are super elite that have power.
That watches crime documentaries way too often. Here are 5 things that you should never do if you want to stay alive in 2026. And before I give y'all the 5 tips, make sure you hit that follow button, because who knows, I might just save one of y'all's lives. Number 1, before you go out anywhere, even if you think it's gonna be just a couple minutes, even if you're just going out for a walk, make sure that you always, and I mean always, tell somebody, at least one person, where it is you're going. This way, let's say, if God forbid anything were to happen and the cops are trying to trace you down, there will be at least one person that could hint to them where you could be.
Yeah,
Number 2, learn psychology. And you might be looking at me like, what are you talking about? What does this have to do with anything? Trust me. Every single human being in this planet is wearing a mask. Whether it's a good or bad one, everybody has a mask on. There will always be somebody amongst you that could have a smile on their face in front of you, but want you dead behind your back. But say you studied psychology and body language, signs, all these things, you can possibly avoid people like this. Because sometimes your biggest haters are right next to you. Sometimes the biggest threat to your existence is not the murder you've been fearing your entire life. It could quite literally be your friend. Number 3, never tell your partner where you live. This one especially goes for women. Never let a man know your whereabouts, especially when you just met him. Make sure you at least know this person really well before you let them anywhere near your house. Your house should be your safe place, your hideout. You should not be feeling scared in your own home just because you might have pissed a nigga off. Let's not do that. Number 4, do not put anything past anyone. And this one kind of ties into number 2 a little bit, because most times when a person loses their life because of another person, they never saw it coming and they were completely clueless. The last one, this one is pretty obvious, but do not go outside, especially if you're a girl, alone at night. What are you doing? Honestly, this even counts for the daytime too. Try not to go anywhere alone as much as possible. And also a bonus, make sure you try to reduce the amount of times you go out in a week. Don't just go anywhere just to go places. Make sure you have a specific goal in mind to where you're going. And again, make sure people know where you're going when you're about to go. The right people. Don't go telling everybody where you're going. Make sure you tell a trusted person, which again, you gotta learn psychology so you know who to trust. Then once you know how to trust this person, then you can tell them where you're going. This will usually be people like your family, etc. So make sure you watch out and be cautious, you guys. I don't want to see none of y'all go missing, okay? Stay safe out there, guys. We live on a pretty interesting planet, to say the least. Make sure you hit that follow button.
According to the FBI, right now in the United States, there are about 25 to 50 uncaught serial killers. Today we're going to go into a couple lesser known ones. First is the babysitter killer, also known as the Oakland County. Between February 1976 and March 1977, somebody targeted children ages 10 to 12 in Oakland County. There are at least 4 confirmed victims: Mark Stebbins, Joe Robinson, Christine Mihelic, and Timothy King. This person would abduct the children and then hold them captive for days or even weeks. While imprisoned, he would feed and bathe them before unaliving all of them and then placing their bodies in plain sight on the road. Although 20,000 tips did come in, the case remains open to this day. Next is the West Mesa bone collector. In 2009, a woman in Albuquerque, New Mexico was walking her dog in the desert when she came across a human femur bone sticking up out of the sand. Police would end up searching the entire area to find 11 bodies and an infant buried nearby. All of the victims were reported missing between 2003 and 2004. Currently, the case is still open and authorities are offering a $100,000 reward for any tips leading to an arrest.
Things discovered under drained lakes. Ladybore Reservoir. A lost village still underwater since 1943. Lake Mead.
Why is the image moving so much?
A hidden WWI bomber aircraft was discovered beneath the lake.
Hidden World War II bomber?
Foss Lake. Police found submerged cars tied to a dark mystery.
It's been under there for a minute.
Little Traverse Bay.
I don't like the whole LSD effect.
An underwater statue of Jesus rests beneath the water.
Nice.
Rootkund. Over 200 skeletons were discovered near the lake. Crystal Lake. Divers placed a creepy Jason Voorhees statue underwater.
Student risks his life revealing his research on Bill Gates. Let's see it.
He funds research on ticks on Plum Island. He is getting a vaccine for ticks before anything major happens. This is similar to when he created viruses in Windows to sell antivirus. He encourages people to be vegan and stop eating meat. He suggests bugs as an alternative.
Wow.
Suddenly, there are alpha-gal syndrome cases from the Lone Star tick. Alpha-gal syndrome is where people are allergic to red meat, but bugs are still fine. Wow. This is not a natural allergic reaction. I suspect it is man-made. Boxes of ticks are found in tall grass fields by farmers. Chickens eat hundreds of ticks per hour. However, there's an initiative petition, IP28 Peace Act, removing existing extensions for agriculture, hunting, and fishing. Tick populations rapidly spreading across the US, worse than any other year in history. Ticks are known to be aggressive and hostile, actively searching for human hosts rather than staying on grass blades like other ticks. Bill Gates pushes for 3D printed meat. Bill Gates releases genetically altered mosquitoes under the excuse to get rid of other mosquitoes. This might be a secret vaccination plan. Initial discovery. In the early 2000s, Dr. Thomas Platts Mills and other researchers at the University of Virginia began receiving reports of sudden unexplained allergic reactions to red meat such as beef and pork, occurring 3 to 6 hours after consumption. Bill Gates is a genius, but the question is he really trying to help society?
Absolutely not. At least that's my belief. Whether you believe Bill Gates is evil or not, if he's trying to help society or not, I think the answer is pretty obvious if you look into it. Regardless, it's still pretty obvious that the world that we're living in is in a way disintegrating. The systems designed by the government are here to enslave us, are here to take our power away, are here to create more man-made viruses. 2020 and everything that transpired then was also, in my belief, by design. It's pretty obvious. What do we do about this? Because clearly it's fucked, and I think you know it's pretty fucked by now. The question is, what do we do about this? I think the only thing that we can do about this is to start building a new model for civilization, a new way to live in community, a new way to raise our children, a new way to grow food, a new way to go about education, a new way to essentially structure society as a whole. We're talking sovereign energy systems. We're talking also sovereign tech, our own phones, our own computers, our own systems in that regard, so that we're not slaves or victims to these people in power in any way. Because if they wanted to shut off the internet, they could do that. So we need our own internet. And if every time you hear about all the fuckery that's going down in the world, this is where your head goes, towards this kind of conversation. How can we build something new? How can we do something better? How can we actually create change? And we have a community of over 7,000 people where we have these kinds of discussions. We have live calls on Zoom every single week, and we're engaging in this conversation. So
yeah, I definitely think that the new ticks that are out right now are 100% man-made. They run, they jump, and the rapid growth of the ticks, like, they weren't just, you know, they were here for a little bit, like, casually, but then the rapid growth, it's like, yeah, I feel like it's definitely something where, like, someone planted this here for a specific purpose. Almost kind of like COVID.
Listen to what this former witch says about the devil.
The trouble is, when you play with the devil, he doesn't play fair. He'll give you everything you want, all the drugs you want, all the women you want, all the promises, and all the power you want. And when he's done with you, he'll kick the legs out from under you. And that's why you hear rock stars sometimes say, I sold my soul to the devil. Because once you make that trade, he'll give you what you want. But people need to understand that the devil is not sharing his kingdom with anyone. And I was studying all this witchcraft. I thought everything was wonderful. The same spirits that gave me power began to turn on me. It was as if all of a sudden the same voices that would say, this man is committing adultery, or this woman steals at work, or this girl's going to get married last year, when I was reading cards, would now say to me, you should die. I would walk around with a gun in my mouth. I can remember the metal used to burn my tongue. I would just suck on a gun, waiting for the moment to stop this power that I had entered into, to stop the destruction of my mind.
God loves you, and he wants your soul to be with him in paradise.
Y'all gotta also remember too, dude, like, reality in a sense is kind of like an illusion. So yes, if you do like make a deal with the devil, or like make a deal with demons or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying, they could easily put this illusion like you're this amazing person, you're so rich and successful and wonderful, and you have all these women, but in reality you just feel like you have nothing.
This man recorded the moon with his telescope, and these are the images. For years, we've been told that the moon is an inactive place with no movement or relevant activity. But recordings like this are beginning to show something different. What initially seemed like a single object crossing the lunar surface, upon closer inspection reveals something more complex. It's not just one. There are several, small dark silhouettes, moving in line, keeping distance from each other, as if following the same coordinated path. They don't behave like typical space debris. They don't spin uncontrollably or change direction randomly. Their movement is uniform, constant, almost organized. These kinds of patterns rarely appear in public records or official analyses, and when they do, they are simply dismissed without a clear explanation. But when multiple objects cross the moon in this way, it's no longer an isolated anomaly. Some interpret it as orbital debris, others as optical phenomena. However, there are those who believe what's being seen could be something more, a possible fleet moving silently beyond what we are allowed to fully understand.
Did you guys hear what was just discovered, announced, and then something done about it in Toronto with the police and some potential corruption going on? Wait until you hear this.
Well, this is a deeply disappointing and sad day for policing. This investigation also underscores the insidious, corrosive nature of organized crime. It highlights how these criminals find a way to infiltrate even the most well-protected institutions across our society.
So as it turns out, what happened was police officers and even a retired police officer were leaking information to organized crime rings and whatnot. So they would say, hey, on Thursday, don't go and do that thing because there's going to be an investigation going on over there. Like, it was total inside. Now, but here's something that needs to be mentioned. This is good that they're cracking down on that, for sure. But I also think that, think about it. Right now, police officers getting in trouble for organized crime, right? But above police, government, there's a little bit of shady stuff going on in there as well. Who's going to go after them? I mean, they're not really getting found out, are they? I mean, people are literally in these institutions of power, but you can't really police upwards. You can only police downwards. Do you know what I mean? And then furthermore, I will also say that people who kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater and they despise, police and whatnot, I do think that's extremely cringe. Because, and even people I know, some people have had a bad experience with police officers. I get it. Could you imagine New York City, no police? No police officers at all in the city. Do you know what would happen? Could you imagine downtown Toronto if there were no police? Or downtown, basically any major city right now, it would be a shiza storm. So they are needed, but okay, maybe some of you think, yes, some may need more training or de-escalation, this, that, or the other. But I also think because of the climate now, police officers are having to, it's a risky business, even doing your job, because of the optics of it sometimes when it's filmed and the camera picks up as these guys are dogpiling on a guy and it's like, oh my gosh, brutality. But the guy just went and pop, punch, steal, squealed the car, crash in, people affected. So you don't really know the full picture. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about this big bust and follow for more.
In 1969, humanity watched a live broadcast from 380,000 kilometers away. No buffering, no dropped frames. Neil Armstrong's small step delivered to your living room in real time. Your 2024 Zoom call drops every 10 minutes. NASA had better Wi-Fi than you. In space, with a potato. Fast forward 54 years. Artemis 2. We have 8K cameras, drones, smartphones that shoot cinema. And NASA gives you GoPro quality. From space, constantly losing signal, especially during the interesting parts. Always during the interesting parts.
And as predicted, we've entered our communications blackout. This will be a 6-minute blackout period.
The interior shots are calm, planned, almost rehearsed. No chaotic flows, no accidental spins. Everyone is exactly where the frame needs them to be. It's less ISS and more IKEA shopping. And then one astronaut reaches for a strap, touches it lightly. The strap bounces back, downward, like gravity remembered it had a job. They have DSLRs on board, smartphones, the most photographed generation of astronauts in history. The official NASA photographs, stunning, almost too stunning, shot, perfectly lit, compositionally balanced. The metadata says raw. But metadata, as any editor knows, can be written in about 40 seconds. And the return, the big finale, you get helicopter footage from far away, slightly shaky, the most expensive mission since Apollo. And the best angle they could manage was a news chopper doing its best. Oh, and Netflix streamed the lunar flyby. Netflix. The same platform that canceled your favorite show after 2 seasons, is now the official broadcaster of mankind's return to the moon. They even had an IntelliJar floating in zero-G. Product placement. Insys lunar space. We're doing brand deals at 370,000 kilometers now. Everything went perfect. The signals dropped at exactly the right moments. The cameras caught exactly the right things. The timing was immaculate. Nothing was improvised. Nothing felt real. But hey, they wouldn't lie to us, would they?
Yeah, I love the faith in the government, but yeah, it is crazy. Like, you go into a subway or into like an underground tunnel, and the second you enter the tunnel, you lose internet, you lose service connection on your phone. But we can have perfect, no laggy data from the moon landing 50 plus years ago.
You're in my dressing room, you have the bathroom with the cameras, so I put towels all over the cameras. And I went and peed in Kobe Bryant's dressing room because I was scared. I dissected a human body over a year ago, and these are the things that stuck with me. When you drill through bone, it literally smells like when you are filing your nails, or if you're getting like acrylic nails done. That's exactly what it smells like. You cut open the testicle, it looks like a tiny little egg inside, and it has like all the vessels and whatnot attached to the end of it, and there's like a bunch of layers around it. In order to look at the abdominal organs, you need to remove the chest wall, and part of what you do with that is cutting the ribs. And to cut an individual rib, you take what look like garden scissors and you just cut them. At my school, we use a handsaw to slice through the pelvis. So when I look at people, I can completely visualize where all of their organs are just by looking at them. I didn't realize how much fat you could have in your hands. They look like tiny little balls of jello. I mean, you can have them anywhere, but I didn't realize how much fat could be in the hands. It's really important to keep them moisturized. So you spray them down with a liquid and we wrap them up in like a shroud. And if you don't do that, then they can get really dried out and like turn black. We don't look at their faces until the very, very end once we start working up on the head. So we keep everything covered unless exactly what we're working on. We were told to treat our donors just like we would a patient that's walking into the hospital. So keeping them decent, talking about them respectfully. There's a ceremony at the end of the year where the students can go and honor their donor, and all of their families are invited, and it's really cool. Overall, it's an amazing experience, once in a lifetime, unless you go into PATH or you work at a coroner's office, but that's all for now. Bye.
I feel like we weren't supposed to know all that, but I guess that's secret information. Thank you, I guess.
You gotta watch this.
Satan tries to get you through your vows. I will never take another drink again. Don't say that.
Wow.
You are not capable of doing that. The self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It says it very clearly in the scriptures. Instead, you should say, only thanks to the power of Jesus Christ would I ever not be able to take another drink again. That is a completely different thing than saying I alone can take on the evil and the devices of Satan. Completely and totally different. And Jesus said this. He said, do not make earthly vows. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. As soon as you take a vow, what is Satan? He's a taunter. He's able then to taunt you with your own vow, right? You said you would never do this again. Come on, let's see how strong you are. All of a sudden it's held over your head. Instead, you should say, I am not enough. Jesus, take my place and fight the spiritual battle for me. Please, Jesus, come into my life. And that surrender, that true unconditional admission that you cannot fight that spiritual battle is incredibly liberating. And Jesus will come in and will win that battle. But here's the second way, is that Satan takes hold when we are disobedient, especially in terms of the flesh. Satan is a master of being able to capture us when we engage in repetitive, intentional, fleshly sin. We all know what that is. I don't need to overemphasize that. You know what that is. It's when we decide that things that feel good, that we know that are not good for us, especially in the sexual domain, that's where Satan is licking his chops and he knows he's got you. He knows that's where human beings are in some ways at their weakest. This is why it says in the New Testament, flee from sexual immorality. And it goes on to say that Satan prowls the earth, in 1 Peter, prowls the earth like a lion looking for those to devour. It's a pretty profound statement, isn't it?
You ever notice that all these viruses come from animals? I mean, all of them? Wonder why. I hope they're not trying to lock us down again. Is the new hantavirus COVID all over again? I mean, these questions we have to ask ourselves. They have 150 people stranded, 3 dead, and 1 is about to pass away. And people that control this world, they don't want to go and get them because if they bring them back over here on land, we all might get it. Like I said, is this COVID all over again? This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. Some people believe this virus is new. No. This shit is so deep, I typed in the letter H and hantavirus came out of nowhere. I never wrote before. Where did it come from? It's like it's already put in place. But let's go a little deeper. Remember this man right here? Gene Hackman? Stay with me. February 2025, Gene Hackman's wife dies from the same virus. Said she was taken first by a silent killer, hantavirus. Now the hantavirus is everywhere. But stay with me. Remember, symbols and logos is the first language of the universe. If the elites want to get something done, they're not going to come out and tell us. They're going to use logos, symbols, numbers, and they're doing this shit right now. Pay attention to the name. His wife died last year from the same shit that's happening right now. They said this virus get inside of your body and mess with your respiratory system. Gene Hackman. This virus will destroy all of our genes and hack man or mankind. The outbreak is taking place on a ship in water. They are trying to tell you that they are about to give birth to something. You know, when a woman is pregnant, her water break and she give birth to something. This shit is taking place on a ship. They are stuck on a ship. The word ship is an anagram for hips because once her water break, we are being pushed through her hips. They are trying to tell you that they are about to give birth to something.
Yeah, I mean, most diseases and viruses and even like bacterias do come from animals. I mean, at the end of the day, animals don't know what none of that is, like viruses, bacteria, and all that. They just eat and do whatever. But yeah, they do whatever. We as humans always find animals so fascinated. We go up to them. We also, like, you know what I'm saying, touch upon them, do whatever, and then we get infected with whatever they have. So like, yeah, most of those things that we be hearing about, viruses and bacteria, it's straight from animals, dude.
Have you heard the insane conspiracy theory that Erica worked for the CIA?
Erica Kirk?
I mean, supposedly she was in a CIA video 10 years ago.
Really?
I mean, if there was a guy who had massive influence and you had to put someone next to him all day, every day, who could report on what he does and talk about what he's saying in private and try and influence him in certain directions. Interesting. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I did remember covering that in one of my later videos. I talked about how Erica Kirk worked for like an orphanage that was ran by the CIA, and a couple of girls from that orphanage also were in contact with Jeffrey Epstein. Some really weird stuff.
Now then, Mr. Seymour, how old are you, by the way, sir?
96.
96 years old. Now, sir, if you'll whisper your secret to me, I'm sure the folks at home would like to know what it is.
Mr. Seymour, would this person have ever been president of the United States?
Was he ever president, this man?
Oh, I think he was once.
Would it have been Abraham Lincoln?
It was Abraham Lincoln, yes.
Was this a pleasant thing?
Was it a pleasant thing you saw, sir?
Not very pleasant, I don't think. I was scared to death over it.
You said no, he was scared to death.
Would it have had anything to do with the President Lincoln's death, by any chance?
Unfortunately, yes.
Did Mr. Seymour witness the shooting of President Lincoln?
Mr. Seymour was 5 years old at the time. He had been taken to Ford's Theater by some good friends, and the curious thing was that when he was this youth, 5 years of age, when he saw Booth jump from the box to the stage, at which time he broke his leg.
Wow.
His only concern was not for the president, because he didn't realize that the president had been shot, but the poor man who fell out of the balcony. And that's all of his memory is of going to the theater and seeing a man fall out of the balcony. Sir, it's been a great joy and you might say an honor to have you are, by the way, the only living witness of that tragic event.
Damn, that's kind of crazy. That means this video was probably shot in like the 1950s, 1960s. Cause oh yeah, it says right here, it says literally the last living witness of Lincoln's assassination in 1956. RIP them, because I'm pretty sure he's now deceased. Everyone in this video is probably also dead. RIP.
This now viral video shows a man by the name of Don D. Long II trying to enter into a courtroom for his court appearance, but for some odd reason this deputy would not let him inside. Then the video shows him walking away rubbing his eyes, and then this happens.
What?
Don Long was simply defending himself against a deputy who was using unlawful use of force.
Yeah,
they later took him into custody, but he walked over to a black man before they placed cuffs on him. But it didn't stop there. They placed him in a cell, handcuffed, for over 12 minutes, this man telling him his eyes is burning and no one came to help. He continuously for over 12 minutes attempted to try to wash his eyes or wipe his eyes off before EMS finally came to help him out. As you can see right here, he just gave up after a while. And since they decided to leave him in that cell for over 12 minutes, now he has permanent eye damage. His attorneys filed a $20 million lawsuit, $15 million for excessive force, and $5 million for assault and battery. Now, court records show that Long was not charged for the incident, but I hope he get a good payout. What could have possibly been going through this deputy's mind to let him think that that shit was okay to do? And as always, count me out.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure it out too. Like, he didn't look like he was harassing anybody or doing anything crazy. He literally just walked away, you know what I'm saying, wiped his eyes off a little bit, and all of a sudden he's getting swung on by a police officer.
The Ukrainian military gave me special access to Chernobyl, despite the exclusion zone being closed to the public for most of the last 10 years. And today we're going to visit the site where everything went wrong. Reactor number 4. It used to look like this, but about 10 years ago, a new $2 billion sarcophagus was placed over the top of it to try to help mitigate any radiation leaks. A year before the release of this video, however, Russia sent a Shahid, an explosive drone, into the top of the shield. Just another attack in the constant war that's been going on between the two nations over the last 4 years. Because of the war, Chernobyl is closed to the public, but I was lucky enough to be given the privilege of entering.
Welcome to Chernobyl.
I've been asked to advise you that this exception will not be made again, and that if you're watching this, to stay away and not make any attempts to enter the zone yourself. This close to Reactor 4, there are rules. No food, walk only on the pavement, and long sleeves must be worn at all times. But a war puts everything into looser interpretations. When I asked where I should go pee, our guide motioned to the trees. He asked us if we had any snacks on us so that we could feed the catfish. And there was even a restaurant serving military personnel way too close to the reactor.
This is the Chernobyl mukbang, first of its kind.
Why would he eat that?
I was going to go into a comprehensive review, but I don't really have anything to say besides that it's good. It's good. It's a good burger, okay?
As we were sitting around hearing about the history of the exclusion zone, a couple of unexpected guests showed up.
Oh, he's so soft.
Oh, such a handsome young dog. Wow. Actually, oh, I wish I knew that. I'm gonna die.
Our time in Chernobyl is just getting started, and from here, we'll make our way to Pripyat, the city where 50,000 people vanished overnight in response to the nuclear disaster.
Them boys were real brave. I mean, me personally, if I hear a nuclear bomb exploded anywhere close to me, I am personally never going back to that area or even attempting to see what that area looks like after the fact.
Breaking news from Off the Curb Ministries. The Euphrates River, 5 years ago, the water level was like up to here on this tower. It's drying up. And it's said in the book of Revelation that the Euphrates River is going to dry up, and when it does, a fallen angel is coming out. And this just so happens to be around the same time that conflict in the Middle East is happening. Famine in the Middle East is happening. So there's multiple countries going against each other. And we're having crazy earthquakes this week. California, Japan, Venezuela. Nation will go to war against nation. We're seeing that. Kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in many parts of the world, as well as famines. But this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. So this is part of the reason why people, I think they did a poll and it was like 40% of Americans believe that we are in the end time. And I don't think this is the end of the world, of course, but perhaps the end of an era, because with all this AI stuff, the chemicals, the contaminants, the environmental stuff that's going on, like, this isn't sustainable. And I don't mean sustainable as in like World Economic Forum, like sustainable development, Agenda 2030. I'm not talking about that. I just mean in general, like this, everything's coming to a head here. And I don't have all the solutions and all the answers to these questions and whatnot, but I do know that it's never been more important in human history to be of sound mind and sound body and detox all the crazy chemicals and contaminants we're exposed to.
I just found the creepiest McDonald's in the world. Check this out. Right, at first glance it looks like a normal McDonald's, right? But then you come over here and you see this glass on the floor. Okay, a little bit weird, but whatever. Weird. But then you look down here, see what that is? It's a little bit hard to tell. Let's go get a closer look. This is a literal archaeological area. We're gonna go down into here and check this out. Oh my gosh. So this is what it looks like when you come down the stairs. When they were building this McDonald's, they uncovered an ancient Roman road, but that's not all. They also found bodies here, and they decided to leave them and preserve them. Not one, but two. How crazy is this? You can be eating your burger right above and then just have a skeleton right here. This is my table right here. And this is the outdoor seating area in children's playground. And then the ancient Roman road. Absolutely wild.
I mean, that place is like an archaeological area. It's not necessarily just, oh, random people found dead body. It's more just like a museum in a way with a McDonald's above it.
Michael Jackson's famous Neverland Ranch was purchased by a billionaire, and what he paid for it will shock you. Michael bought the land in 1988 for $19 million and spent years transforming it into something the world had never seen. An amusement park with rides, a Ferris wheel, a zoo with exotic animals, a private movie theater, and a train that circled the entire 2,700-acre property in California. At its peak, Neverland was valued at over $100 million. Michael left Neverland in 2005 and never returned. After he died in 2009, the estate listed it for $100 million. It sat on the market for years. The price dropped, then dropped again and again, but nobody bought it. However, it is now privately owned, renamed Sycamore Valley Ranch, and completely off limits to the public. In 2020, a billionaire finally bought it. Less than a quarter of what it was listed for, and barely more than what Michael paid for empty land back in 1988. The price? Just $22 million. Was $22 million a steal? Comment below.
Why is most of Australia's land area almost completely empty? Looking at satellite images at night, we see that only about 5% of the territory is lit up, while the remaining 95% is submerged in darkness. In reality, 99% of Australia's population crowds along the eastern coast and a small portion in the city of Perth. While the vast majority of the country's land remains almost untouched by human presence, is it because Australians are too lazy to develop it? First, in the east, there is the Great Dividing Range, stretching more than 3,500 kilometers from north to south. Massive winds and rains from the Pacific Ocean blow inland. They promise to bring rain to the entire continent. However, they are blocked by this enormous mountain range. As a result, a phenomenon called the rain shadow covers most of the territory. Consequently, while the east is lush and fertile, the west is dry, scorching hot, with little rainfall, extremely limited water sources, and nutrient-poor soil like a red hell. Temperatures remain above 50 degrees Celsius, making it nearly impossible for humans to live. In the 18th century, when the British arrived, they did not come to develop the interior. They came to extract resources and export them back to Britain. So they built major ports along the coast. When the British left, Australians continued to invest capital and resources into coastal cities. They developed them into chains of urban areas connected by seaports, tourism, and international trade. As a result, a coastal-oriented mindset became deeply ingrained in Australians. Therefore, they are not eager to explore inland lands, nor willing to risk pouring money into harsh deserts. But Australia is also trying to change, as Darwin, a city located on the northern edge, once considered remote and isolated, is becoming a new geopolitical hub, and that promises major changes that Australia will create.
Holy fuck, chat, this encyclopedia from 1958 proves that they found a dome. Watch this.
Okay, you guys remember how I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out? And I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2 out of the alphabet A. And we're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, we're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the new encyclopedias because the government's banned them. But what I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, let me show you with an image of what a flat earth map would look like. Now, this is what latitude 80 degrees south would look like on a flat earth map. As you can see, the dome comes down closer to you over the wall, which will be about 13,000 feet. Now, if you go back out into the center of the earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament with a little bit of calculation, it's going to show that it's about 385,500 feet away. It's really, really simple, folks. Now, if you're not familiar with any of this at all, and you're just now new to all this, you can say, well, this guy is crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But what you got to ask yourself is, why do all the maps before 1958 show a flat earth with the ice wall around it and a firmament, a dome? And why does the encyclopedia tell you that there's a dome there, and it gives you the exact height at a certain latitude and longitude? Well, the reason is because in 1958, that's when all governments and all nations of the world signed the UN treaty to ban all civilians from going to the Antarctica, and NASA came in and erased everything, just like they're erasing everything today. So again, ask yourself, if all this existed before 1958, why doesn't it exist now? How come it all of a sudden was erased and just disappeared out of your history books, out of your encyclopedias, out of your libraries? Wake up, people. Wake up.
So a hacker just blew the lid off a secret society that's been meeting in luxury resorts for 20 years. And the guest list reads like a who's who of everyone currently running or dismantling the United States government. Let's get into it. So the group is called Dialogue. It was co-founded in 2006 by Peter Thiel, the billionaire who has spent the last decade bankrolling the careers of MAGA politicians. Dialogue describes itself as a private, invitation-only society. It holds annual retreats at places like the Ritz-Carlton, a Venetian palace. It charges over $16,000 to attend, and it has spent 20 years refusing to disclose who belongs to it. Until now, a Swiss hacktivist found that Dialogue's own website had accidentally left its entire member directory sitting in the open, visible to anyone who looked at the page's source code. This list is very concerning. Dialogue doesn't just mix politicians and tech billionaires in the same room, it mixes the regulators with the people they're supposed to be regulating. Just a couple of examples. The chairman of Dialogue founded two of the biggest location data broker companies in the country. These are companies that make money selling your personal data. He is listed in the same society, Dialogue, as Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, whose department writes the rules on financial data. Also, Senator Ted Cruz, who chairs the Senate committee that oversees the FTC's Data Privacy Authority. So a guy whose business is selling your personal data is in the same exclusive club with the two people most responsible for deciding if that's even legal. Then there's Palantir's other co-founder, whose software runs data systems for ICE and the Pentagon. He's chilling out in Dialogue with the Army Secretary and also Congressman Jim Himes. He is the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. That is the committee that oversees the agencies that Palantir does business with. And if you follow me, you know that Himes is also the most powerful Democrat when it comes to deciding whether FISA Section 702 which is the government's warrantless surveillance program, gets reauthorized with what privacy protections? And civil liberties advocates have been ringing the alarm bell about him for pushing to renew it without meaningful reforms. Now we know why. It goes on and on. Ezra Klein is on the list, Cory Booker, Wes Moore, Julian Castro, hanging out with Jared Kushner, Ted Cruz, Leonard Leo, and Epstein pal Lawrence Summers. The whole thing is just stomach-turning. Anyway, this is what the deep state actually looks like. It is not Pizzagate, it's not Q. It is a $16,000 retreat in Venice where the rich people writing the rules and the rich people those rules apply to are on a first-name basis, and nobody's allowed to talk about it. And y'all, it is gross.
Hey, I'm with Baton, Magic, and he's with Palm Beach Pete. Remember, it was a long time ago. There's how many years until he started crying? Peace out, bro. Okay, thanks for coming. My pleasure.
I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why these people are playing around. This guy just called him someone he's not. This is Palm Beach Pete, like he said. I'm just me being me, and it's a phenomenon, all right? I don't know what's going on here, guys, but something is going on here, guys. He called him by a name that he's not, and he laughed like it was funny. People are saying that something is going on in this video, and it's very odd and very questionable. Like I said, I don't know what's going on here, but something for sure is going on here. I mean, he's just him being him, all right? And it's a phenomenon. People need to leave Palm Beach Pete alone. He is not Jeff, okay? Enough is enough of this malarkey. Let's just call it what it is. This is Palm Beach Pete, and he's a cool guy, and he's on social media, and he's here to stay. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. I'm not sure what they're trying to tell us in this video, but they're trying to tell us something, and I don't know nothing straight up. I don't know what to think. Let me know what you think. I'm out.
I feel like it's a known fact that Palm Beach Pete is just a dude that looks like Epstein. Realize he's getting a lot of money and a lot of attention from the fact that he looks like this dude, and he's just running with it, just collecting all the profit, all the attention, and you know what I'm saying? He's just doing what he's got to do.
Typical. We see Jay-Z do that all the time. A lot of celebrities do that.
Man on the left is Nolan Xavier Wells. He's only 18 years old, and on the 4th of July, he went missing when he was boating with his friend. This is another picture of the group that he was with. They were on the northwestern tip of Horn Island, which is off the coast of Mississippi. And I'm just going to point out the obvious. He is the only person of color in his friend group. So allegedly around 3 p.m. on the 4th of July, Nolan was apparently talking to a girl, and after this, he just vanished. He disappeared. The details are really like few and far in between, but it's being assumed that the friends, after Nolan vanished, they went back to land. So everybody returned back to land except for Nolan. They reported that this had happened, that he just vanished in the middle of the day. Police ended up going out. Once they returned to the island, they found his phone. It's unclear. I will say, yeah, it's unclear if the police found his phone or if the friends found the phone and gave it to the family, because I've seen both. You know, somebody, please let me know the actual thing. Something else that's interesting is that the friends say, you know, they don't remember anything. I don't want to just assume. Because, but it just, how do you not remember anything? If I'm with my friends on a boat, we're drinking, and in the middle of the day at 3 p.m. they just vanish, and they don't know how he vanished. They said he just disappeared. I'm staying on that damn island until I get some answers. This is just pretty, just sad and unfortunate. And the worst part is that it was just confirmed that a body has been located on Horn Island. Now, it has not been confirmed that it's Nolan, but as of 30 minutes ago, I'm filming this at 11:45. So just 30 minutes ago, it's being said that a body was found on Horn Island. We don't know the identification of this body, but Nolan was only 18 years old. His friends say they know nothing. He just vanished in the middle of the day, and they just left without him and returned back to land. And to me, that feels weird. I truly hope that Nolan comes home. I hope this body isn't Nolan. And I'm sending every single piece of good energy that I have to his family who are just absolutely worried sick.
Yeah, chat, that was just a couple days ago, man. 4th of July was literally not too far ago, pretty much last week, you know what I'm saying? It's very, very interesting that 2 people I've seen on social media, including Nolan right here, that died on the 4th of July. This one other TikToker, she was driving in a Lamborghini Urus and she ended up getting shot up because some people in Florida saw that she was flexing and flaunting her wealth online, so they knew who she was and ended up shooting up her Lamborghini. But it's very sad to see stuff like that.
In the dream, he predicted 3 world wars. The First World War, he said, must be brought about, and I'm quoting from Albert Pike. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. He says, quote, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism will be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. He's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion.
Did I tell you guys? When the betting company, prediction market, Kalshi, first announced that you can bet on the streams of songs, I predicted that there would be a lot of fraud. Because 100%. Streams, unlike the funk or influence, are really easy to fake. And guess what? It's already happening.
Super easy to fake. You could fake views, you could fake followers, you could fake music streams, you could fake live streams, you could fake anything. I feel like that was kind of stupid. I could probably make $1 million based off of faking a bet that I made on some type of poly market, so that's easily corrupted.
Malcolm Todd's song Earrings saw a 70% increase in streams and overtook the #1 most streamed spot. But this one power Kalshi trader noticed some suspicious activity around the song and reported it. Sure enough, the song had about 500,000 botted streams. Spotify flagged them and removed them, which it does all the time, but it usually takes a couple days for them to do that. And by the time they finally did, the Kalshi bet had already paid out over $3 million. For reference, on this one website, you could get 500,000 Spotify streams for about $2,500. Now, assuming it's not some insider trading music industry guy, some random bettors have made more money off Malcolm Todd's earrings than Malcolm Todd has on Spotify. This industry is not real. Spotify can't catch the botted streams in time to stop Kalshi from paying out the scammers as of right now. It's a giant inefficiency, or if you're a scammer, it's incredibly efficient. So how do we stop this from happening? Well, either Spotify gets way faster at stopping botted streams, or we do something completely radical and unbelievably insane. Like, don't let people bet on an incredibly flimsy and cheatable metric. But I know, that's crazy. That's too much to ask for, right?
Yeah, I don't think people should bet on stuff like that. Like games and stuff, yes, games can get rigged. But I feel like, for example, a basketball game, a football game, a boxing match, not including Jake Paul, by the way. We're not including Jake Paul. We're talking a real boxing event or a real fight or a real sports match. Yeah, bet on that. But to bet on, oh, I think Drake's song is going to hit 10 million. Drake could bet on it too and then buy freaking 1 million streams, you know? Kim Jong-un executes official for falling asleep. Deadly.
Did you know that Keanu Reeves was forced to make a movie against his will? And it almost ruined his career?
That's bad.
So the story starts, of course, with Keanu. And he's around 34 during this time, and he's already a famous actor with some big movies under his belt. But he has no idea that he's about to become one of the biggest stars in the world. And one night around 1998, he goes to play hockey with his longtime buddy, this guy, Joe. Joe's an aspiring movie director who wants nothing more than to break into the industry, and he's desperate to do so. So after the game, they're, together drinking beers, and Joe tells Keanu, "Hey man, I got this script for a serial killer movie. I've been trying to get it made, but no one will give me the money." And if Keanu would just make a small cameo, that would be enough to get the movie financed. And Keanu, he doesn't really want to do this favor, but he's notoriously one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, and he feels bad for Joe, thinking, okay, fine, what's a few days on set if it helps a friend? Whoa. And so they shake hands and they make a verbal agreement. But neither of them knows just how good this is about to be for Joe and just how terrible this is about to be for Keanu. And so the two go their separate ways for a while. Keanu goes to work on a movie that would become The Matrix, while Joe takes the script with Keanu's name attached and he shops it around Hollywood. And so for the first time, Joe is able to get a meeting with a studio. And so he takes this meeting and he drops Keanu's name and they offer him a budget of $30 million to make his movie. So finally, his dream of becoming a big Hollywood director is about to become true. But then, something somewhat unexpected happens. The Matrix is released, and it blows the fuck up, becoming a surprise massive hit. And Keanu, he suddenly becomes one of the biggest movie stars in the world. So when the producers of Joe's movie think about their script, they're like, Keanu's only in one scene. We've got to get him in more. And so they rewrite the script, and they expand Keanu's role from a small little cameo into the lead as the serial killer. Now, at this point, a normal person would let their friend know that the favor they've agreed to do has turned into a much bigger obligation. Like, Joe should call Keanu and let him know exactly what's going on and, make sure it's still cool with him.
Yeah, definitely should have asked his permission. Like, you can't just make someone a main lead and be like, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie, you're this main lead without him knowing. Like, he could have been working on something. That's mad unfair, in my opinion.
But that's not what he does. He knows he needs Keanu to get this movie made, and he needs him to sign paperwork agreeing to do the role. If he doesn't, Joe could lose his chance of becoming a big director, and that's not a risk he's willing to take. And so here's where Joe, allegedly, does something diabolical. Instead of getting Keanu to agree and sign the paperwork, he, allegedly, forges Keanu's signature, which legally forces him to do the movie. And I'm sure Keanu's agent, or whoever's representing him, hears about this, and he's like, you got huge offers coming in! Great scripts where you'd make millions of dollars! Why'd you say yes to this little bullshit movie? Because now he's gonna have to turn down other offers while he's making this thing. Not to mention, the role in the movie has also changed. It's no longer a small part, which would only take like 2 or 3 days to film. This is a lead. This is gonna take months of his time. So at some point, Keanu gets the revised script, and he reads it, and he can't believe it. Whoa. Not only does he have a bigger part now, but the movie is also terrible. And so he calls his lawyer to see if he can help get him out of this mess. And his lawyer basically tells him, if you quit the movie, the production company can sue you for millions. Then you'd have to sue your friend Joe and somehow prove that he forged your signature, which you can't do. And you'd be in 2 legal battles for years, and that could cost you millions. And so, poor Keanu, he has no choice. He has to make this terrible movie against his will. But then, a bit later, things get even worse for him. Because he learns that even though his role was significantly expanded, his pay was not. He'll only be getting paid union minimum, something that an actor with little to no experience would get. While his co-stars, James Spader and Marissa Tomei, will each be getting $1 million apiece for their part. So even though Keanu is one of the biggest stars in the world, he's being paid the lowest wage that they can legally get away with paying him. Whoa. And so, poor Keanu, he starts work on this movie, which will eventually be called The Watcher. You might have heard of it. But every day, he shows up to set like a professional, and he gets on camera and he says lines that he knows are terrible, while the friend who betrayed him is right there directing him. And clearly, Keanu just wants to get this over with. And his performance is just awful. It's probably the worst of his career. Because, he doesn't want to be there. And at one point, Joe directs him to do, like, a serial killer dance. And so he makes Keanu dance while Keanu just looks like he wishes he were anywhere else. It's so cringy. But anyway, eventually, Keanu finishes making the movie. However, his troubles are just getting started. Because now the studio wants him to promote it. And Keanu's like, no way. Because, he doesn't want to be associated with it. And the studio knows that he's mad about the whole situation and that he wants to go and talk shit publicly about it. And so they make a deal with him. Okay, you don't have to do any promotion for the movie, as long as you don't say anything negative about it for an entire year. And Keanu, he's desperate to not have to promote it. So he signs a deal, agreeing to not publicly trash the movie for 12 whole months. So then, the movie, The Watcher, it finally comes out. And it's kind of the worst possible scenario. Because Keanu is such a huge star during this time, largely because of The Matrix, that he's become a big box office draw. And so people actually show up to see The Watcher, probably hoping that it'll be like The Matrix. And unfortunately for Keanu, The Watcher opens up at number 1 at the box office. It doesn't stay there very long, but it opens up there. And people absolutely hate it. I mean, it gets completely trashed in reviews. And yes, Rotten Tomatoes was around during this time, and it gets a whole ass 11% critics and 28% audience. And poor Keanu, he gets the blame for all of it. Like, the public just openly declares how terrible he is. He even gets nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor. And so right at what should be the peak of his career, he's being publicly humiliated. But he's legally bound from explaining himself for an entire year. Well, eventually a year passes. And it's now 2001. And his contract expires, and he can finally publicly explain exactly what happened. And so Keanu immediately does an interview with The Guardian, and he explains the whole situation to try and save his reputation, saying that he never wanted to make that movie, but that he was forced to. But, unfortunately, no one pays attention to his explanation, because that interview is released on a day that something else dominates the news cycle entirely. September 11th. And so, at the end of it all, his friend Joe never actually faced any punishment for the things Keanu alleges that he did, but his directing career never really took off. While Keanu's career, fortunately, completely recovers and it takes off and goes to the moon. And he did actually end up making a bit of money from The Watcher because he got points on the back end, so he's doing fine.
I mean, yeah, he did. He's doing good. He's doing well. My main thing is like the disrespect that your friend had to forge your signature and force you to do a movie with bare minimum pay. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he gave him $1 million, like the other actors, or even more because of who he is, like $5 million maybe, it'd be like, all right, well, he just gotta struggle through it, whatever. But like the fact that he forged his signature, made him do something he didn't want to do, then give him no pay pretty much, or a little pay, that would have, dude, I would have just did the legal battle, because you're not disrespecting me like that.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe and follow.
Scientists think they can prove DMT entities are real. What the hell?
Scientists may have just found a way to test whether DMT entities are real. When people take a high dose of DMT, they meet beings, apparently autonomous, intelligent, and behaving in ways that are completely unpredictable. And they consistently describe them as more real than real. Science has generally dismissed it as a hallucination, the brain running unconstrained, generating imagery of autonomous beings from noise. But a new preprint from neuroscientist Andrew Gillimore, cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman, and mathematician Nif Hermanson suggests otherwise. Their argument starts with Hoffman's framework called conscious realism, in which reality is made entirely of interacting conscious agents, and what we call the physical world is just our species-specific interface with that network. It built us to see reality usefully, not necessarily to see it accurately. Like icons on a desktop, they're useful and functional, but they don't show you what's happening inside the computer, which means most conscious agents in the network are simply invisible to us, because our interface was never designed to perceive them. The paper proposes that DMT perturbs that interface enough to push consciousness outside its normal range into regions where traces of normally imperceptible agents can suddenly be rendered as stable, coherent experience. The mathematics on this predicts three things: that you'd experience these beings as having more dimensions than normal, that the beings would appear to have godlike capabilities from your perspective, even if those capabilities are routine from theirs, and that they behave with genuine autonomy that you couldn't have generated yourself, which is exactly what people report. There's also a problem with the hallucination model.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine what you would see tripping off of that. A lot of people believe that that molecule is known as the death molecule, pretty much because it's reported to release in your brain when you die or something like that. So I mean, it sounds kind of scary, but I know people like Joe Rogan and stuff like that usually try that.
Holy fuck, chat. The FBI just showed up at this guy's door to ask him about his social media posts.
What?
Speaking out about Bill Gates and whether or not he intends to hurt him. This shit is
Oh,
crazy. Watch this.
No. Any intention of harming Bill Gates?
No.
Good to go. Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's
What the
it.
heck is, dude? This is crazy.
No, you're good.
I'm just letting you guys know. I love you guys, right? But you guys got to remember that we are basically at a point in our country where we don't know who's here to help us and who's not here to help us anymore. So I do this because I see it as our future children are gonna basically need help.
What?
You know what I mean?
What is he yapping
They're not
about?
going to have the option of an American dream and like the next two
Oh.
generations. You know what I mean? You guys are well set. You guys got your houses for cheap. You know what I mean? You guys are all set. Our generation, they're screwed. And what's going on right now? Everything's getting more expensive. Your
That's
gas,
true.
everything. You got your gas. You got your groceries.
Bro's
you got
ranting.
housing. You got everything just continuously going up. And these
Yeah.
people's days aren't getting any better.
Right, how old are you? 29?
29.
You have any kids?
I know you
I
are.
am in your generation.
I know.
I don't own a house.
Exactly. My point exact. Why is that? Because the people in power
True.
are fucking us.
100% right.
You can't tell me I'm wrong here, but what I see it as is they're sending you guys out as their dogs to do their dirty work, so people that, like myself, who are upset with the government and everything around, not even just the government, banking, pharmaceutical, Hollywood, everything, pushing friggin' OnlyFans on children and everything. Yeah, I'm sick of it, and it's all being pushed by our government and allowed by our government. So us being upset at our government isn't a bad thing, and it's our First Amendment right.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, he was like at the start of the conversation, I was kind of like he was just yapping. But yeah, I mean, he has a point. He has a really valid point. But it's kind of strange to me that the FBI kind of just came up to him and was like, "Hey, do you plan on harming Bill Gates?" And he said, "No," and it was just that. Like, I don't think someone that was planning on harming Bill Gates, if they had the FBI come to their house, they would say, "Oh yeah, I plan on doing that." You know what I'm saying?
There's so much more to this enormous warehouse fire in California that started this past Friday than what news outlets are telling us. Within the first 30 minutes, over half of this facility was up in flames. Thankfully, everyone has gotten out of the building and there's no injuries reported, but this isn't just an enormous warehouse. This was a 1 million square foot medical supplier warehouse. This warehouse was owned by Medline, the people who give us basically our gloves, our masks, and all of our medical supplies. Seeing the life-saving stuff. It wasn't just the entire 1 million square foot warehouse that got caught on fire. Locals describing this as a raging inferno as 18-wheelers around the warehouse caught on fire, and then across the street a FedEx facility caught on fire. With authorities still saying they have no idea how the fire started.
That's
Unlike
insane.
other previous warehouse fires where employees literally recorded themselves
Wow.
catching it on fire,
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to...
Medline's warehouse has had nothing like that, but thankfully all employees got out safely. Injuries have been reported. So what happened? How does a fire like this happen? These facilities are supposed to have sprinkler systems to prevent this. They did have a sprinkler system, but it was broken. So did the fire department not find out until it was too late? No, they were there promptly, except the fire hydrants to use to put the flames out was also not working properly.
Wow.
Firefighters on the scene basically saying not only did a fire start, but everything that was supposed to stop carpet failed. That's how within 30 minutes, over half of this building was already gone. This being so massive that multiple other fires started because of this one. Now that people understand exactly what this warehouse was and what it contained, what's going to happen now that one of their major warehouses full of medical supplies is completely destroyed? You're talking the potential of showing up for a medical procedure, but they don't even have gloves to treat you. This one location being the medical supply for hospitals, clinics, and local doctors' offices.
The oldest Christian village in the world is burning down in Tibet, Palestine.
Wow.
Israelis stormed the 100% populated Christian village, the place where Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead, prepared for his crucifixion, and where the 5th century church of St. George was founded, is on fire, being destroyed, targeted, and demolished by Israel. Media will never show you this. This all happened last night as the Israelis seek to destroy the final 100% Christian village in all of Palestine. The oldest Christian village in the world. As radical Israeli settlers say they must push out all the Christians because of its historical significance of Jesus and rebuild it as an Israeli village. Just for Americans to understand this, not a single Muslim lives here. This is the oldest village in Christianity. And the Israelis, with full backing from the government who support them and protect them while they do this, all because it's Christian and a significant place of Jesus Christ. Please share to spread the message.
I feel like there's different ways to do things without necessarily eliminating half of a country, you know what I'm saying? Or at least half of a population.
I know you're not going to believe this, but once upon a time, Elon Musk actually offered to end world hunger. Like, he asked online how much the UN thought it would cost to end world hunger. And I think he thought it was going to be some form of mic drop. And then the UN actually did a itemized, summarized breakdown and determined it would be around $6.6 billion to stop immediate famine in the world. So not permanently ending world hunger, but at least temporarily. And it would have solved a lot of the hunger crisis in the world. And then Elon never really responded. And that was when he had like $50 billion. So I get like 6.6 out of 50, you know, it's a lot of your billions. But now he has $1 trillion, which is 1,000 billions, which is 1,000 millions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And yet, like, groceries are still more expensive. It's harder to eat for a lot of people in this country. And this is a first world country.
Yep.
Imagine a third world country. And you have $1 trillion on paper. It makes me sick. I don't know.
Yeah, chat. I mean, that is pretty crazy. But my first thought was, is it 6.6 billion per month? Would it be 6.6 billion for the year? You know what I'm saying? Like, where would that 6.6 billion no longer be usable? You know what I'm trying to say? Because he said 6.6 billion to end immediate world hunger. Basically, like the world hunger that everyone's feeling right now, whoever's hungry. You know what I'm saying? But how long could that 6.6 billion really last? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
You ever think about the fact that sin was the only thing that kept us from living forever? And before you click off because this sounds religious, hear me out for a second. When you look at the 7 deadly sins through the lens of science, they're almost a blueprint for accelerated aging and disease. Think about it. Gluttony. Overeating destroys metabolism, increases inflammation, damages the cardiovascular system, and dramatically can increase the risk of chronic disease. Now let's talk about wrath. Chronic anger floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline. Blood pressure rises, inflammation rises, stress can accumulate, and the body literally wears itself down. Now let's talk envy. Constant comparison creates chronic dissatisfaction. Your nervous system remains in a state of deficiency, focusing on what you lack instead of what you have. Stress goes up while happiness goes down. Now, greed. No matter how much you acquire, it never can feel like enough. The brain adapts to every win and immediately seeks the next one. You're trapped in a cycle of chronic stress and perpetual dissatisfaction. Next, we have lust. When pleasure becomes compulsive, the reward system begins to dysregulate. Dopamine pathways become altered, meaning satisfaction decreases while craving increases. Then pride. Pride prevents correction. You stop listening, you stop learning, you stop adapting. And in biology, organisms that fail to adapt eventually decline. And finally, sloth. The absence of movement, the absence of growth, the absence of challenge. The human body was built to adapt under resistance. Without it, we deteriorate physically, mentally, and even emotionally. Now, here's the fascinating part. Every one of these sins creates some combination of stress, inflammation, hormonal dysfunction, addiction, isolation, or even disease. The very thing modern science associates with aging. So maybe the ancient warning wasn't just spiritual, maybe it was biological too. Because when you look closely, the 7 deadly sins aren't just behaviors that damage the soul, they're behaviors that slowly damage the body as well.
Yeah, he pretty much laid it out for us. Like, he pretty much told you guys exactly what I was going to say. If I'm being honest, I feel like if we truly eliminated all those sins that he said from our lives, we would probably be living a way better lifestyle, if I'm being completely honest. Like, for example, lust can get you into bad situations, tie you down to bad people. You know what I'm saying? There's a thing called soul ties. It could potentially hook you to the wrong person. He talks about greed, how it could, like, you just feel dissatisfied, increase stress and all that. And just all, like, if every single human being genuinely took from the 7 deadly sins, I feel like we would see stuff like depression, anxiety, you know what I'm saying? Even like schizophrenia and stuff like that. And all these mental health issues we've seen over these last 20 years dramatically decrease. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? We operate at a subconscious level. So it is kind of hard to just be like, all right, let me stop comparing myself to everyone. Oh, let me stop trying to be envious and actually be happy for what I have. Let me not, you know what I'm saying, go out and find a partner, like, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Listen to this chilling testimony about hell.
I saw Biggie in hell.
What?
Yeah. I used to love Biggie Small. He used to have this song called Give Me One More Chance, and I used to love the extended remix. Oh, I used to be in the club, boy. That was my jam. Jesus Christ took me from that room into hell. Hear me now. Hear my words. With no dream, for some of y'all saying I'm having dreams. With no vision, I was physically out of my body in hell, standing beside Jesus Christ himself. There's this
in hell
cave-like area, was pitch black. And there was these two, the demons was almost as, the demons was darker than the darkness. You didn't even know it was demons there until you saw the whites of their eyes. That's how you knew that they was creatures. And these demons had to be 13, 14, 15 feet tall. And they were standing in front of a jail cell. A jail cell in hell. A jail cell in hell. The bars went up and down, and they were dug into the top of this cave-like area and then dug into the bottom. And it was just a carved out area of a cave room. And there was nothing in this room, just carved out area. And Biggie was holding the bars, but he was on fire.
Wow.
From the inside.
Wow.
He was burning from the inside. Like somebody put a bomb in his belly, he exploded. I saw him, and I'm standing there looking at him. And I asked Jesus, I said, Jesus, why is this man here? And these are the words Jesus said verbatim, is written on record in heaven. This is what he told me. He said, this man, he ain't even call him his name. He said, this man told me he didn't need me. This man went to a fetish priest and got charms he carried around in his pocket to become famous. And he believed he was a king. And Jesus said, but mostly it's because he told me he didn't need me. When Jesus finished speaking, them two demons, one demon told the other demon that he wasn't speaking in English. He was speaking this language I ain't never heard, but I knew what he was saying. He was saying, because he was pointing. They had staffs. They had poles. I don't know what's up with the staffs, but they had these staffs. And he was holding the staff with his right hand. He pointed. He said he was telling the other demon to get him out of that cell, and they're going to take him for more torment. So when they came out the cell, fake king's robe appeared on him, fake crown, and they took him and put him in a juicer. Now, in the spirit realm, you have a permanent spirit body. In hell, you still feel like you have bones. You still feel like you have blood vessels. You still feel like you have the same organs you had here. But you don't, but you do, you feel it. And he felt the pain of breaking bone, muscles and ligaments and tendons, his skull being cracked and smashed. He felt that.
There's only one way to escape the judgment of hell. Commit your life to Christ today. Receive eternal life and watch Jesus change the trajectory of your life. For more spiritual truths just like this, like and subscribe to my page.
Yeah, I mean, chat, you know, sometimes I've heard a lot of people talk about stories of the spiritual realm. That makes me think, like, do you guys think that our souls, our spirit, have like kind of some sort of memory? Like it can really remember, like, let's say you died today and, you know what I'm saying, somehow you magically come back to your body. Like, would you remember that moment after you die once you come back to the third dimension, which is this human realm? You know what I'm saying? Would your spirit remember what happened after the body just completely shut off? So that's what I always thinking about. I'm like, maybe a lot of the times when people have these near-death experiences, it could potentially be like hallucinations, or if not hallucinations, it could be like little dreams, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it probably also does go deeper than just the third dimension, like just this physical realm. But I also do think, like, where is the memory coming from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it like a human hallucination thing, or is it just actual things that's going on? Because why did she specifically see Biggie Smalls? You know what I'm saying? It could have been anyone. It could have been someone she knew. Could have been a random person, but it was specifically Biggie Smalls. Why does it have to be someone that was famous? Someone that she knew that was famous? Like, why wasn't it just a random dude?
You know, in some places it is actually illegal to give birth with dolphins. Why would that be a thing? Just like in Hawaii where they practiced it normally. Why would they ban such a thing? Well, if you're awakened to the fact that everything has been intelligently created, you might be familiar with the divine law, as within, so without. And as you know, we live in Mother Nature, or Mother Earth. So what is the ocean? It's the womb of the earth. The earth is literally 70% saltwater. So are you. There is a reason why this was practiced in ancient times. And I mean, this woman explains how her birth was painless. It was fast. And it was almost like the dolphins understood how to assist her healing. And I mean, you can even see that children come out smarter, ambidextrous. They talk, they walk sooner. Maybe because that's the natural way of life. They have the ability to communicate and heal with humans. They have divine power. That is also why they call heaven, or the sky, the Father, because when it rains, that is the seed that grows Mother Earth. This world is intelligently designed by dualities or polarities, the positive and the negative, and together it creates oneness. Having a child the way the system wants you to is probably, I would assume, the most painful way to have a child, for the mother and the child. They lay you flat on your back working against the magnetic pull of the earth, using all your pushing power under those fake ass LED lights that are beaming on you in a cold room. It's like they're trying to make it uncomfortable. And on top of that, they cut the umbilical cord when the child comes out. That's why the child starts crying, because it's supposed to retract. That is necessary nutrients the child needs, and they just cut that shit off.
Scariest things ever caught on camera.
What's going on? Oh! Y'all see, she just disappeared.
Forward, please. Facing forward, thank you. That's what I like.
What the?
Everybody hang on!
I've heard that video was fake, so I can't even support that.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, that's not a real video, chat. I did a reaction on it like a while back, and everyone was like, bro, it's fake, it's fake.
Headed to where you're speeding and missing stop signs.
I was just headed to a friend's house. It's like literally right there. It's a birthday party. So
Got it.
I'm not lying, but
I've seen this video too.
no, of course not.
All right, sit tight, Sarah. I'll be right back. Okay. Your registration is What the?
Sarah?
If you think the dead internet theory is as scary as I do, you need to watch this video, because that shit is so fucking real, and it's insane. So this is a video. It's about the woman who walked into the water with the 2 dead fish, but just watch this. It's fucking crazy.
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya.
There was a
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition to that,
she turns around, she's
2 dead fish in her.
Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Y'all, as soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that came to my mind was Yemaya. In addition,
there was a video.
As soon as I seen the video of the woman holding the 2 fish walking into the water, the first thing that
There was a video.
The woman. So there's currently a video that's going viral, and there's currently a video that's going viral.
Yeah, honestly, chat, I feel like a lot of the time with the internet nowadays, a lot of things that we see is kind of like already done. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard for us to genuinely see original content. Like, for example, we're seeing pieces of different content. Like, there's probably a million other YouTube channels that have the same kind of format that I have. You know what I'm saying? And there's probably a million other people that I probably influenced to make a similar channel to this, you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of things nowadays on the internet is pretty copy and paste. Majority of creators that are really successful though, they'll take something that already works but make it their own. But like we just saw, there are those creators that just take it word for word, everything for what it is, visual for visual, and they change nothing, pretty much adding no real value to the audience. They're just pretty much copying and pasting whatever someone else did, you know what I'm saying? But I could definitely see how those videos fuel the dead internet theory, but I personally think it's just other creators that are just being lazy and not really changing anything. They're trying to make just the same content but reach a wider audience, you know what I'm saying? Which usually doesn't really work. Like you have to change something for like an audience to really come in and they'd be like, all right, you know, I like this creator. He's kind of different from this one, but similar to this one. You know what I'm saying? He's different from this, similar to this, and he has his own style.
At least 1,000 years have been added to the timeline. The fall of Rome was actually a worldwide cataclysm. The meltdown is seen throughout the world. You can see the warping and bubbling of the bricks and blocks of Pompeii. And Cappadocia is one of the best examples. This grid meltdown was worldwide, covering everything in ash and pulverized buildings. Look. There was about a 1,000-year time crunch from 476 to 1500, meaning 1500 is actually 500. There was a massive mutant takeover leading up to the collapse or meltdown, which led to the widespread loss or hiding of records. Mutants took over worldwide and rewrote the history. The mutants or clones added 1,000 extra years to inject themselves into the history. Charlemagne and Carolingian architecture did not exist. Rome didn't build anything for like 800 years supposedly. No new aqueducts, no roads, no ports. 700 years. That's why the Roman and Viking period ships are basically identical. They are contemporaries. Look. And these were the ships that supposedly reached America first. So Rome had to too. And then Bulgaria, 400 years after the fall, has buildings made of Roman cement. Look. But the recipe for Roman cement was lost hundreds of years prior in the fall. And it wasn't rediscovered until the 1800s. There aren't many deserts in Europe, but there is one in Bulgaria because of the meltdown. And this is Bulgaria. We see the meltdown in Spain. We see it in China. None of the stories about the carbon dating or the sediment make any sense. These Roman baths were supposedly buried from a flood, yet the ones in Exeter were purposely built over, supposedly. So a supposed tsunami in Turkey wiped out all these animals and ships. Ships were found with items that don't match each other's timeline. These items were supposed to exist hundreds of years apart. The Hippodrome is basically completely buried, just like Battery Wall in New York. And let's get into the coin thing, not just the J or I coins. Coins were restruck to change the dates, as you can see that M is off center. See? And there was a mass editing campaign of coins. Great recoinages or restriking of coins. Arabic and Roman coins from conflicting timelines were found beneath buried Scandinavian cities. And these phoenix buttons or coins were found everywhere from Haiti to Alaska, because Phoenicia was actually part of America. Look, artifacts remain stagnant for hundreds of years. Art was basically static. Not all the events are fake, but there's a massive time crunch of events. Many say Constantine actually lived in the 1st century, and that the Quran was actually written in the 1st century as well. Christianity, Islam, and matrilineal Judaism were really contemporaries that got pushed on the world at the same time, and by the same people. And the Umayyad Caliphate worked to maintain matrilineal Judaism. Let's look at the Umberto Gallery from this local website. The M was added later to add years. History has been manufactured and inverted. Buildings that survived the reset have been repurposed. Buildings that don't support the narrative stay buried. The fall of Rome and the Maya were at the same time. It was a worldwide cataclysm followed by reset wars and subsequent resets. AI has injected and projected parasites into the timeline to alter it.
I can definitely say that time definitely feels like it's going a lot slower. No, I'm actually lying. Time definitely feels like it's going a lot faster. Like, I don't know what it is. You blink and then for some reason you have aged 3 years. You close your eyes for 5 seconds and then before you know it, you're like 30, then you're 40, and then you're like, where the hell is the time going? Like, what's going on? Like, why is it going so quick? And you swear too that when you were a kid, like when you were like 10 years old, a year felt like forever. The second you touch like 21, like the second you touch your 20s, your teenage years, time is just like, all them years just go flying.
A lot of you watching this have probably seen the popular animated TV show Rick and Morty.
100%.
A mad scientist named Rick decided to invent a machine to serve him butter. When the machine became sentient and realized that its entire sole purpose was to serve butter, it went into a depressive state.
Okay.
This is a good way to understand that Gnostic cruelty. of physical existence. Rick's battery on his car quit working, so he had to shrink himself down into a macrocosmic level to go into the battery. There was an entire civilization of living physical entities whose efforts and energy is actually what powered Rick's car. Rick pleaded with Morty and said, do not tell these people that their sole purpose is to power my car. It would create chaos. The living entities, the conscious beings within this reality wouldn't be able to handle the brutal reality of their existence being for the sole purpose to power some dirtbag's fucking car. It would cause mass suicide. Rick goes down there as an avatar. He's considered a god. Wow. This is obviously funny and humorous to watch for us because we know that that's a TV show and we don't have to worry about that. Yeah. We live in objective reality, right? Uh-oh. There's no way that we are a power source for an evil entity. It can't be. That certainty that we are not want to talk about a food source for a higher creature that could be, in a way, malicious is hubris. It's ego. We think we're the top of the food chain, and when we find out that we're not, we freak the fuck out. What would happen if our species was to realize that we were a sort of a farm?
To be honest with you guys, I genuinely could see that being 100% what is going on. Like, if we look on a microscopic level, when it comes to cells, bacteria, viruses, these are living entities on a microscopic level that's fighting to sustain the human body. Like, really think about that. So who is to say that we aren't fueling something? We aren't the cell or the microscopic bacterium in a human body. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't know that. Like, I'm pretty sure bacteria and cells and mitochondria in the, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure all those things aren't like, oh yeah, I'm taking care of this big human right now that's currently making a YouTube video and is just watching creepy TikToks. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it does kind of make sense what he's saying.
So this guy really likes hooking up with prostitutes. Now, the guy's name is Conforte, and Conforte is 29 when this story starts, and he's living in Nevada. And Conforte, like I said, he really likes hookers. In fact, he likes them so much that one day in 1955, he opens up his own brothel in Wadsworth. And you know, it's nothing fancy, it's just a series of rundown mobile trailers. But whatever, the clients don't seem to mind, you know, as long as they get to smash. But, of course, there's a problem with all this. In Nevada, during this time, there's no clear law banning brothels. So they're sort of operating in a legal gray area. But that doesn't mean police can't step in at any time and shut them down for any reason they want. And some counties are far more strict than others. So Conforte takes advantage of this. Whenever he feels like local law is about to come down on him, he'll just tow his brothel trailers to a whole new county and start all over. And this scheme somehow works, and Conforte starts pulling in a ton of money. Which is good because, you know, he really likes living a flashy lifestyle. Like, he likes walking around wearing silk suits and driving fancy cars and whatnot. But then, one day, he runs into a bit of trouble. Because he catches the attention of this guy, Bill. Bill is the local district attorney. And Bill, he doesn't like Conforte at all. He doesn't like what he stands for. He feels Conforte is immoral and a bad influence for spreading prostitution around. So Bill starts targeting him. Like, he officially bans him from his county, and whenever Conforte ignores that ban, Bill has him arrested. Not once, but multiple times. And this, of course, pisses Conforte off. He feels like he's just a normal businessman providing a service to the people who want it. Why is Bill always picking on him? So Conforte decides that if Bill wants to come after him, he'll go after Bill too. And that is when he comes up with a plan. He's going to invent some dirt on Bill so that he can get leverage over him. So in 1959, he sets up this whole scheme where he has an underage girl falsely accuse Bill of having intercourse with her. Then he tries to use this information to blackmail Bill. But see, Bill, he isn't about to be blackmailed. He decides to strike back. So he wires himself with a recording device, and he hits up Conforte, and he pretends to want to discuss the issues between them, and the two men agree to meet up. And then they meet up, and during this meetup, they're talking, and Conforte incriminates himself on tape, and he admits to setting the whole extortion scheme up. And so, bam, Conforte gets arrested. And he gets convicted, and in 1960, he gets sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison. But see, Conforte, he's not the type of guy to let prison slow him down. Even while he's locked up, he's still up to his shenanigans. Like, he turns the prison gaming room into a sophisticated casino operation, which, surprisingly, the prison staff are cool with. They let him run it and make money. And he takes this money he's making from the prison casino, and he employs a personal cook, he employs a maid, he even hires a guy to fan him while he plays games. It's ridiculous. Now, eventually, years go by, and it's now 1965, and Conforte gets out of prison. And of course, he's ready to go right back into business. But this time, he's gonna play it smarter. He doesn't want a repeat of what happened before. So he starts protecting himself by building up goodwill. He builds relationships with local politicians, he donates money to the community, he gets involved in local charities, he builds a trailer park for low-income families, he even gives out turkeys to people on Thanksgiving. And of course, local people start to like him, and he becomes the go-to guy for politicians when they want to win an election. And around this time, he buys a small brothel from another guy, and he takes it over. This time, his brothel is in a fixed location. It's called the Mustang Ranch. And in 1971, with all this political influence he's been acquiring, he starts fighting for the legalization of his brothel. And surprisingly, this works, because his brothel becomes the first legal brothel in the United States. So from here, he becomes a very popular guy, and he gets lots of attention for this. He's even featured on the cover of Rolling Stone for this. And all this is making him lots of money. Like, he's pulling in millions of dollars every year. In the 70s. But here's where things start to get a little complicated for Conforte. For some reason, he decides to expand his empire and get into the boxing promotion business.
Wow.
So he starts a boxing promotion company, and he signs a heavyweight boxer, this guy, Oscar. And Conforte, he starts promoting Oscar's fights, and thus he starts making even more money. But then, Oscar starts acting a fool. At one point, Oscar starts getting close to Conforte's wife, this woman, Sally. Like, Sally and Oscar, they start having dinners together that look a little suspicious. And these nights out together, they start up rumors that these two are having an affair, and people start talking. But then, Oscar makes it even worse. He starts bragging around town that he wants to marry Sally and then take over Conforte's brothel and boxing promotion empire. Now, eventually, all these rumors and trash talking get back to Conforte, and he decides that Oscar has to go. So he goes to him, and he offers him a bunch of money to fuck off and leave the country. But Oscar's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Then, one day, in 1976, Oscar shows up to the Mustang Ranch, all aggressive, looking to confront Conforte about their beef. And supposedly, Conforte had ordered the security guard there to shoot Oscar on sight if he ever showed up, causing a problem. So, blam! The security guard shoots Oscar, and Oscar, unfortunately, doesn't survive.
That's extreme.
And pretty quickly, police arrive. They're responding to the shooting, and bam! The security guard gets arrested. And later, the security guard pleads guilty to manslaughter, and he gets sentenced to 2 years in prison.
It's not even
bad. So, depending on how you look at it, Conforte may have just gotten away with murder. But then, in 1977, bam! Conforte gets arrested and convicted of tax evasion.
Wow.
And he's sentenced to 20 years in prison, and he's ordered to pay about $18 million in back taxes. But before he has to report to prison, he flees the U.S. and he goes to live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Wow.
Apparently, Brazil has an extradition treaty with the U.S. during this time, but they don't extradite for this particular crime, apparently. So he leaves the US, but Sally, his wife, stays in the US. And she files for bankruptcy so that the IRS can't come in and seize the Mustang Ranch. So ultimately, the brothel stays open. And while he's still in Brazil, Conforte is still running the Mustang Ranch from behind the scenes, and he's funneling the profits back to himself. And as another workaround to keep the IRS from seizing this place, Conforte eventually sells the ranch to his attorney, while still calling the shots from behind the scenes and collecting all the profits. Until, bam, the IRS arrests Conforte's attorney. And they threaten to charge him with all kinds of stuff unless he flips on Conforte. And eventually, he does flip. He flips on Conforte. But the thing is, old Conforte, he's still chilling in Brazil, living his best life. And the Brazilian government still won't extradite him. And so from here, he never gets caught because he never leaves Brazil. And then in 2019, he dies in Brazil, basically of old age, having never gone to prison for his final crimes.
Dude, 20 years plus $18 million owed? Wow. Yo, that's crazy. Not only are you getting basically life in prison, you're also getting $18 million took. So it's a lose-lose. That's a crazy story, is to know that he went to Brazil and they pretty much didn't do anything to him because he owed the US money. So Brazil was like, that's not our business, dude. That's you and the US, you know what I'm saying? We got nothing to do with that. But like I said, chat, I'm pretty sure I said in one of my videos previously, I started this clothing brand called Nora Lumen. If you guys are interested, pre-orders are out now. Full drop is coming sometime the end of July. Make sure you guys check it out. You know what I'm saying? Channel members immediately gets discounts. I'm trying to do at least one shirt free a month. Make sure to tap that icon on the screen. Love y'all, boys. Peace out, chat.